we're going to be covering from the year 2000 to 2009. Mm-hmm. So these are those top 10 movies. So what we're going to do is, of course, we start off with 10 through 6. Mm-hmm. And we're going to start off with Olaf. Olaf, are you here? Olaf.
Yeah. Yep, I'm here.
All right. So what is your number 10 through 6?
We have Wall-E. I just love that movie. That was a good movie. And then the next one, another animated one, Up. That was a good one.
You know, I've never seen Up, but I always hear that it's supposed to be such a tearjerker.
You
the
have
first
to
10 minutes
see
are the
within the next
watch.
week, Kinte. You have to sit down and watch that movie.
Oh. I'm sorry, we lost yours. Would you say go back? What was the last one? Olaf?
It's like Lord of the Rings, Two Towers.
All right.
And then Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship.
Which is number what on your list?
It's 10, 9, 8, 7.
All right. And number 6.
One more. Number 6, Zombieland.
Zombieland. Okay. All right. All right. So Olaf is getting started off with a bang. Okay. All right. So we're gonna go over to Arpo. What is your 10 for 9?
Okay, starting out at number 10 from the year 2003, Finding Nemo, my favorite Pixar film. The worst movie of 2003, it's a tie. The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions.
They both sucked.
Please start gagging me till I stop. Okay, coming in at number 9 from 2007, Juno. Really, really liked that film. Very well thought out, very, very warm, very funny. And the worst movie from that year, I Am Legend. No, you're not. Coming in at number 8, 2002, one of my favorite Woody Allen films, Hollywood Ending. Just the idea of him suffering hysterical blindness while trying to direct a movie without letting anybody know was just a great premise for a film. The worst film of 2002, Signs. We were beginning to see that M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong was really starting to lose his edge. Coming in at number 7, 2006's The Last King of Scotland. Forrest Whitaker's take on Idi Amin Gaddafi, was it? It was Gaddafi, right?
No, it was
Idi Amin. Yeah. Okay, I was right the first time, see? Yeah, his take on Idi Amin was just absolutely hypnotizing to watch. Worst movie that year? Yeah, I wanted it to be X-Men Last Stand, but I had to go with Failure to Launch, a perfectly pointless love film that featured, crap.
Featured crap?
I forgot. I forgot his name. The football player. It's on Fox every Sunday. Baldy. Terry Bradshaw. That's it. Featured Terry Bradshaw naked. That's enough to put any movie into last place. And then finally, number 6, from 2004. Love this movie. Sideways. 2 men doing a sort of bachelor party weekend in the Napa wine country, tasting wine. You can't get in too much trouble there, can you? Or can you? The worst movie from that year, and believe me, I am a huge Jackie Chan fan, but come on. Around the World in 80 Days.
Could have been worse. It
could have done
been
it in
a
60.
lot worse.
Oh, no. They couldn't have done any worse than what they did.
You know, I have to say, though, besides like 2 of your worst movies, I liked I Am Legend. Reloaded and Revolutions I didn't like, but Reloaded I wouldn't say it was the worst movie of that year. That's pretty strong. I mean, there was some moments.
Yeah, well, I'm evil. I'm sorry, I thought
I am
about me.
I like I Am Legend. It was better, way better than Omega Man.
Shame on you! Wait a minute. Better than Omega Man? Really?
It?
Hold on. I'm going to take umbrance with that. I'm sorry. Yes, Will Smith is, he's charming and nice, but you know what? No.
At least it wasn't
Heston.
What about the scene where he's choking out his dog? That warmed the cockles of your heart, didn't
it? Heston watching Woodstock and going, they don't make movies like that anymore.
Here's the thing.
I mean,
back in the 50s, Richard Matheson wrote a book called I Am Legend. They made it into a movie called The Last Man on Earth. They remade it as The Omega Man, and then they remade it again, got back to the original title, I Am Legend, but we're so far away from the story at that point that it's like, no, you're not Legend.
Yeah, he forgot why he was Legend. He was supposed to be the scary thing that was killing all of the people that lived in the world now, because he was the only human left and everybody was the other species. So imagine what you're supposed to be thinking as the other species, that as you sleep at night, this lone creature goes around and kills your people.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was why he was a legend. But no, don't worry, they're just mindless monsters, and Will Smith's okay killing them all. So, hey, because we don't want Will to look bad.
Not at all. We can't have that. All right, so Kitty, it's on you. What's your 10 through 6?
My 10 through 6. Coming in at number 10, V for Vendetta.
Oh, yes.
Number 9, Pitch Black.
Oh,
number 8.
Yeah, yes.
AI, Artificial Intelligence. That was a damn good movie.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was very thought out and very well done.
She can have her opinion.
Number 7, and this one throws me for a loop. The only reason it's on my list is because I am putting the entire series on, although half of the series sucked severely. The Harry Potter series. And number 6, Inglourious Bastards. Because nothing like a good scalping makes for an awesome movie.
All right. So King Penguin, go ahead.
Okay. Number 10, the start of a trilogy of awesome films, Shaun of the Dead. And I'm going to say here, I'm going to start right off the top saying, the one thing that I found with my list from 2000 is that I was surprised how many films I really liked from 2000, because in my general opinion, before I started researching, going, okay, which films am I going to pick? In my head, I'm going, yeah, the 2000s were a wasteland. They're not many great films. But there are so many great films in 2000, and it surprised the hell out of me, because I'm going, that. So my list of also rans is huge. But Shaun of the Dead, but the thing I was going to say is a lot of my list is going to be foreign language or foreign-made films that became mainstream that were really good and said, hey, you know what? Film is not dead. It's going to go on. But Shaun of the Dead, a great. Now we live in this age of like overdoing zombie stuff, but it was a great homage to Romero's films. It was funny, but it also had a story about. I mean, who would think a zombie movie about the end of the world is a story about a man growing up and taking responsibility with his life. So I love that film. One of my favorites.
Not to mention a buddy zombie movie.
A zom rom-com is how it's actually. It's a romantic comedy with zombies. And so, but it was a very well-made film. A lot of clever shots. A lot of you could see, and there's a lot of love for what he was doing. Great, I love that movie. Number 9 is Lord of the Rings: Fellowship of the Ring. And I picked that one above the other two, and the other two are not on my list. I'll tell you that right off the top, so spoilers. And the only reason for that is, and if I could say it's a whole, because I could pretend it's a whole movie, I love the whole trilogy. But the thing was that this was the one that sold the idea that we're going to sit there and wait for next year to see what happens next. My wife, I took her to see it. She had no idea what Lord of the Rings, and I didn't tell her that, because I knew at the time that it was the first part of 3. And so I'm like, okay, I'm not going to tell her. And so I'm sitting there, and there's many times it's going, okay, this is the end of the film. Oh, no, it's not. But the setup with the characters and everything, creating the world, I think it was the best of the 3 films only for that, because it creates the world, it sells you that world, and you fall in love with it. And to be honest, anyone who loved those movies, I mean, that was the movie that made you love those movies. That was the one that said, yes, anything is possible. You can watch the Tolkien stuff being done, there on the screen, which no one thought could be done before. So that was my number 9. Number 8 is, reluctantly, I'm putting this in, because part of it I hate it, and part of it I love it. And it's a movie that divides me so much, but there's so much good about it that I keep forgetting about the bad parts. But it was also sort of the predictor of how this director would work from here on in. But The Dark Knight. I'm not a Nolan fan. I think he's got a nice bag of tricks that everyone goes, ooh, wow, ooh. But, I think The Prestige is his autobiography of everything's just a trick. And it's all about flipping the story, and here you go. But what sells this movie is not Batman, but the Joker. And I could go, and it's an interesting thing, because the 2000s were all about reacting to 9/11. Every film after September 11th was a reaction to what happened. You could see the difference in how they looked at it. And this movie was a very superficial look, but at what it means to live in a world where there's terrorism now that you can, in America. I mean, let's face it, terrorism existed everywhere else, but this is kind of an American film talking about terrorism and what it means and the chaos and everything else. Unfortunately, the one thing I hate about this movie, but I love about everything else, is that characters don't talk to each other, they talk at each other, and it's all philosophy that's, But it looks great. It moves great. It's got some beautiful action scenes, and let's face it, Heath Ledger's Joker. The build up to it, I was like, I'm not going to enjoy this. This doesn't look like the Joker. This is going to be suck. It's going to suck. And then he won me over, and he owned that film. And if it wasn't for Heath Ledger in that film, it would have been a much lesser film. So, and his take on the Joker was beautiful because he stole from other actors, even Cesar Romero. He took from Cesar Romero bits and pieces. He took from Jack Nicholson's and even a bit of Mark Hamill's interpretation of the Joker. And he blended it in such an interesting character that I was sold. Anyways, I'll talk to you, George. Number 7, English film, Children of Men. Great science fiction film. Great premise. Interesting philosophy. What happens in a world where there are no longer any children? And if you notice, things like art and things like that sort of disappear. There's less meaning of life. There's nothing to send on. And it's a bleak, dark future, not just because, everyone's dying off, but it's the whole idea that there is no reason to keep going on certain things, but you just keep doing it. It was a great, interesting message. The way they did it, almost like a first-person thing in a few shots, where like the scenes in the city where there's the attack, and you see the blood splatter on the camera lens. It makes it more visceral. Normally you wouldn't see that in a film, but this was making it almost like you're watching a documentary. It's not, and it was just great performances all around, and I just love that film. And it was just an interesting film. Then I go to my next sci-fi film, also from out of South Africa, District 9.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
District 9 did what other films were trying to do, but just hammered the hell out of, here's your message, here's your message. District 9 could have been that film. In some ways it was. I mean, you could see what they were paralleling. However, they did it in such a way that you're going, okay, you know what? I'm going to ignore the fact they're trying to talk about a message or politics, because I'm following this thing. You've got a hero who's actually, a very despicable person as a person, and you're following him, and the only reason he becomes a better person is because of something bad that happens to him that he has no control over. And it's sort of like going, I mean, it's almost that I want to liken it to any films. It might be like in the 1960 odd film, Watermelon Man, where the guy finally learns that, oh, racism is bad because he becomes black. So, you know, in this case, he learns that, oh, what we're doing is bad because I'm becoming one of these people. And maybe that's how we have to teach people. I don't know. But great film. I love it. The follow-up film that they did, not so much. This one worked on all levels. I mean, you believed everything you saw. It was interesting. And because it's coming from a different country, the sort of, there's a different sort of feel to the thing. And I just love it. It was just a great sci-fi film. It was about something as opposed to explosions and special effects. And that was number 6.
Yes, I remember seeing District 9, and at first it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, and I was so happy about that. You know, like I thought it was going to be this one. I thought it was going to be a typical, you know, science fiction alien movie, and it was totally not that. Oh. So yeah, definitely.
It's what sci-fi should be. It's about something. It's about something that's going on in society, using sci-fi to kind of separate the actual people so that you can look at it and go, oh, wait a minute. And you're seeing it from a point of view that you wouldn't normally, because as people, we kind of look at other people and go, eh. But when you put it, aliens representing another group, you go, oh, hey, that's not very fair. And it's like suddenly click.
But, you know, you were saying about the movie showing, maybe that's hearing racism, Watermelon Man. Yes. There was a movie that showed, it's not on my list, it was actually in 1998, that showed how you cure racism. And it was a movie called American History X. Have you ever seen that movie? Remember, he got cured from his racism when he got raped in prison. And then
I'm hoping that's not the cure for racism, because, I mean, that's a lot of people are going to need to be fucked in the ass.
He got gang raped by his compadres, and then he was no longer racist anymore.
So what we've got to do is, to save the world, we have to get a bunch of neo-Nazis who are actually, you know, pretending to be neo-Nazis. We're going to go around the world raping racists so that they learn, hey, maybe we aren't right about this kind of thing.
Right. Remember, he went totally the other way. After that, he became a fighter against racism. So that's
the one scene I remember from American History X that you just can't. It's the curb scene. That is just such a horrible scene, and you just, once you see it, you don't unsee it. That's one of those moments in the film you go, I wish I hadn't seen that.
Very difficult. Yes. I had my guy in the movie, Avery Brooks.
Oh, Avery Brooks. I love. Well, hey, I'm a Deep Space Nine fan, so I love that guy.
He's my hero.
Yeah, he's awesome.
That's my hero.
The way he projects his voice. He's
awesome.
But I mean,
all right. So here we go. So here's my 10 through 6.
Go ahead.
Okay. So what we're doing is we're doing the top 10 movies of 2000. Yes. All right. So number 10, my movie is A History of Violence. I don't know if you guys have seen this film.
Absolutely, the Cronenberg film. I love Cronenberg.
Cronenberg at his best. Viggo Mortensen. Is that how you say it? Yeah, Viggo Mortensen. His performance is awesome. How he starts out as an everyday man, and by the end, he's just like a cold-blooded killing machine. That movie, I just loved it. And they had another movie too called Eastern Promises that came out a little bit later.
That was disturbing.
Yeah, that was kind of a little strange, but definitely great film. All right, number 9. Now, I did a show, a spotlight episode once before called Movies that were really good, but I never want to see again. Mm-hmm. You know, like, not that the movie sucked. It was so good, but the experience that you have, you're like, you know, I don't need to see it again, but it was great, right? Maybe we need to do that again. But number 9 is, yeah, right, I feel you, Steph. Number 9 is There Will Be Blood. There Will Be Blood, fantastic movie. I enjoyed the heck out of it. Daniel Day-Lewis, that guy is like not human. Daniel Day-Lewis, I would love to see him play like a Batman villain or something. To take that.
I think that would be the end of it though, because he gets so into the roles, he might actually commit crimes before the movie. So it's
but in this film, it's just terrific. The director, who I know you love, Magnolia, Arpo.
Yes.
This to me is one of his top films. The guy is. I didn't see The Master, but I didn't hear good things about it. But this is definitely up there in his top film. So that's number 9 on my list. Number 8 on my list is Christopher Nolan film Memento. Memento. I'm a big Christopher Nolan. I love Christopher Nolan's work, and Memento, I just think is a fantastic film. Guy Pearce is an underrated actor. That guy can really, really good. The first time I really paid attention to Guy Pearce was in L.A. Confidential, where I thought he stole the film. I thought he was fat, when he was with some heavyweights in that movie. But Memento is a fantastic film. Definitely check it out if you have not seen it. Number 7, I know this will be controversial, but I really enjoy this film. Number 7 is The Bourne Identity, the first one.
Oh, yeah.
I thought Doug Liman did a fantastic job in bringing the book to life. A lot of people were upset because the movie was so different than the book, but the villain in the book was Carlos the Jackal. So, they really couldn't, I don't think that it would have worked. So, but I think the first Bourne movie was terrific. It's by far way superior than the rest. I haven't seen the newest one. I thought it really changed. It changed James Bond. The Bourne movies changed James Bond. Now, if you think about it, Daniel Craig is kind of Bourne in a way. The way that they fight, the choreograph,
or choreographer.
There you go. So I think the Bourne Identity, that's number 7. Number 6. Okay, you can shoot me all you want, but I did not care for Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring that much.
That's fair.
But I really liked the Two Towers. I thought that was the one that
I'm just going to continue to eat my soup.
Fellowship bores the hell out of me, but I did like it.
I was some other characters, that's my opinion, and hey, doesn't mean anything.
So number 6 on my list is Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. All right, so what we're gonna do is, Olaf, are you there? Are you with us?
No, I ran away.
Smart man.
I need to see Titanic.
I ran away. I'm not here.
All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna ask for your honorable mentions, and then we went 5 through 2 from you. So go ahead.
Honorable mention. What was it? Kill Bill. What was the other one? It's a couple other ones. It's like when there was another. Besides wasn't there a third Lord of the Rings movie? Yeah. When there were 3.
Return of the King. Won the Academy Award for
because they couldn't give it to the other 2 films.
And I don't know what the other one was. Those would be my 2 nominees.
Okay. All right. So 5 through 2.
Number 5, 28 Days.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was
later, right?
Yeah.
You know what? That movie surprised me. I saw that as a screening.
Wait, isn't 28 Days the one with what's her
right with Sandra Bullock?
Is that the one he's talking about? Find out. He might be talking about the Sandra Bullock film.
Sorry, I forgot 28 Days. Not
that was a good movie. Yeah. I didn't see. I've never seen the sequel.
I did. It's not bad. It's not great.
The sequel would be 29 days later, wouldn't it?
28
I think it was
28 weeks later. It's not a bad film. It's not as good as the first one, but it's not really a bad film.
Avatar.
It's like just it's like the the way they did that movie was just, all the effects and stuff was just awesome in that movie. It was just really good. I liked it. Number 3 is Kung Fu Panda. And for my number 2, Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo. I've never seen Kung Fu Panda or Finding Nemo.
Oh, they're good. It's like I tend to watch the animated movies a lot because they're like the way they're done is just, it fascinates me to see how they can do the animation and it looks real, and how it's like with the talking and the movements and everything and what they do. It's there's so many of the animated movies. It just amazes me how they can do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love watching animated films too, but the problem is it's really hard, especially when you're my age. You go to the movie theater and say, I want a ticket for Zootopia, and they kind of look at you and go, it's a cartoon, right? Like,
You're judging people, right? Stop judging me with the damn movie ticket.
I saw this
I'm
thing.
supposed to watch these movies.
Yeah, but people.
I saw this thing. I saw this thing just today where it was talking about top 10 Disney failures, and at the box office, and it said that Bambi, Pinocchio, as well as Fantasia were all box office bombs when they came out.
The original
they
run,
were.
but
Originally, yeah.
when they were re-released, that's when they made
That's when they
lot
made
of money.
money. They said initially though they lost money on them.
Yeah, but I mean, it was expensive to animate back then too. Don't forget, they couldn't hire Korean guys who worked for pennies a day. They actually had to pay normal wages.
Not only that, but if you look at the style of the animation, I mean, Pinocchio, every frame is like a work of art.
All right, Arpo, what's your honorable mentions and then your
Okay.
5 2?
I could have gone really crazy with the honorable mentions. I could have done 200 honorable mentions here.
So that would have been like what, all of them?
No, not quite. But I restricted myself to 3 per year. So if one of your favorite movies is not on this list, don't blame me. Blame the constraints of time.
Totally
Okay, here we go. From the people who brought us 2 Lock, Stock, and 2 Smoking Barrels, Snatch, in my opinion, a much better film. X-Men, the original movie, the only decent X-Men movie until X-Men First Class. Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou? Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, for all the reasons that have already been discussed. A Beautiful Mind, for its wonderful way of presenting schizophrenia. A funny movie with a really great message in it, Shallow Hal. Robin Williams making us scared to go to the drugstore with our film in 1 hour photo. One of my favorite science fiction books made into a movie, Minority Report. Denzel Washington getting health care for his child in John Q. Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Now, you notice the 2 Towers isn't in there? There's a reason for that. But going on. The surprise feel-good movie of the year, Bad Santa. One of the best movies in terms of plot twists I've ever seen, Identity. Hilary Swank really knocking him dead with $1 Million Baby. The movie that started a franchise, Saw. A movie.
Wait a minute. $1 Million Baby is on that list of movies that is good, but I don't ever want to see it again.
Yeah.
I don't think I could sit through that again.
All right, a movie that I don't understand why this never got nominated for an Oscar. Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. I love that movie. Crash, because you know how I love these vignette movies that all interweave with each other. Walk the Line, great biography of Johnny Cash. Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were Rabbit. Who doesn't like Wallace and Gromit? Come on. The Departed, Little Miss Sunshine, Alan Arkin's best role. Hollywoodland.
Great movie.
Of course, No Country for Old Men, Javier Bardem scaring the crap out of all of us. One of the few Steve Carell movies that I really like, Dan in Real Life. The True Story, Into the Wild. A nice little tech thriller, Vantage Point.
That was good.
My second favorite Simon Pegg film, Run, Fat Boy, Run.
Not Hot Fuzz.
No, Run, Fat Boy, Run. That movie just cracks me up every time I see it. One of the few really great doper comedies, Pineapple Express.
Oh my God.
Inglorious Bastard, if for no other reason than Christoph Waltz is just amazing to watch all the way through it. One of the best parodies of Die Hard, Paul Blart, Mall Cop. And of course, for all of us superhero fans, Watchmen.
Wow, that's a lot of honorable mentions.
Like I said, I could have had about 100 more. It was just a good decade for movies. All right, coming in at number 5, appropriately enough, in the year 2005, Capote. Philip Seymour Hoffman doing an amazing performance as Truman Capote. He was just letter perfect with the mannerisms and the voice, and utterly believable in the role. Worst movie from that year, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You don't fuck with Willy Wonka. Coming in at number 4. Oops, other way. Coming in at number 4. So what?
I was about to say, you do realize Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was much closer to the book than Willy Wonka.
And that's why it stank.
Yes, exactly.
Gene Wilder is Willy Wonka.
I'm not saying it was a very good movie. I was just saying it was closer to the book than Willy Wonka was.
But if I want close to the book, I'll read the book. All right, coming in at number 4 in 2000, a veritable Chinese fairy tale, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Amazing story, amazing effects. How they did all that flying stuff is just spectacular. Worst movie of that year, Supernova. You spend this whole movie looking at the star that's about to explode, and then when it's finally going to explode, they leave, and we don't get to actually see the supernova. I've been gypped. Coming in at number 3, The Dark Knight, because of the whole terrorism side thing, and of course Heath Ledger's outstanding performance as the Joker. It made this a case where, very rare in trilogies, the second movie is the best of the 3. I think the only other time I could think of that happened was with Spider-Man 2.
Or Star Trek 2.
Oh, well, that's not really a trilogy yet, though.
Well, quadrilogy, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. The worst movie that year, they just shouldn't have gone back there. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
But they nuked the fridge.
Worst thing they could have done was involved aliens.
Yeah, it was.
And Shia LaBeouf.
No, there could have been. Actually, no, LaBeouf wasn't bad. The aliens were dumb, but they could have gone worse.
This may be true, but they went pretty bad.
but they went about as bad as they could go.
Yes.
I will say I did like Shia LaBeouf as a possible figure to take over the series because I thought he did do a good job of it.
Yeah, he did. Just bad
Harrison
material.
Ford as Indiana Jones just looked tired.
Actually, surprisingly less tired than I thought he would look.
Yeah.
He actually,
But you know, so the movie showed a lot that you can survive a nuclear blast by hiding in
No,
a,
you can't.
a lead line.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? It's lead line. They really made those things solid, and it was very highly insulated because the bleed off back then for like refrigerant was like terrible. So they had to make it like super insulated, so the heat couldn't get in and the radiation couldn't get in. Yeah,
but you're being jostled around and rocketed through the air at Mach speeds. There's no way you'd survive that.
Well, you know what?
But you have to understand. See, I believe this movie because he knows stuff about relativity and polarity. And a dude could fucking survive
and
that.
Aliens, apparently.
I know a guy who thinks he's the second coming of Christ that you would get along with great, King. What can I tell you?
All right. So was that your list?
No, I'm down to number 2. 2009. Everybody said I was an idiot for not picking James Cameron in Avatar to win the Oscars. But I didn't. I picked Catherine Bigelow and The Hurt Locker, and you know what? I was right. The Hurt Locker is just one of the best films I've seen about the war in Iraq and what it is like to be the person that has to defuse the bomb. Worst movie from that year? I mean, I can't even look at it anymore. Bruno. I can't.
Oh, Bruno.
Wow. No,
Really?
I hated that film.
Really?
Yep.
That movie gets 2 fingers up. Guess which one?
Really? Okay. It's interesting. Okay.
All right. All right, Kitty. Do you have any honorable mentions?
Of course, I have honorable mentions.
All right.
I'm going to start at the top of the list. I usually start at the bottom, but the way that I had my list this time, the best honorable mention was definitely last. So I'm going to start mine out with Iron Man, the start of Robert Downey Jr.'s superhero career, followed by I Am Legend, The Cell, The Chronicles of Riddick, What Women Want, Coyote Ugly, Pirates of the Caribbean, and finally, my favorite honorable mention, which unfortunately did not have room on my top 10, Howl's Moving Castle.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is a movie that was ported over from Japan, part of Studio Ghibli. So I love Studio Ghibli. So I have seen almost all of their movies. I have to go back and find some others that I haven't seen yet. Moving on to my top 4. By the way, 4 through 1 are all animated features. Just to let
but you're starting at 5, right?
I am starting at 5, yes. 5 was Avatar.
An animated feature.
Animated feature, right?
Yes, this is true.
Well, CGI, not really animated.
Dances with Wolves, too. Oh.
Ferngo.
Yes.
Number 4 was Shrek. I thought that movie was absolutely hilarious. Number 3 came in at WALL-E. And number 2, Finding Nemo. I cannot wait to see Finding Dory.
Sleeping Beauty, the X-rated version.
Now,
come on, Steph.
I would see. Oh wait, that's kind of creepy. It's almost like a necrophilia.
Fornicating fish. Oh.
All right. You have never seen Avatar.
Oh, sorry.
I haven't seen Avatar or Shrek.
Don't see Avatar.
Yeah, I'm not a big anime. Yeah.
Well, first of all, if you're not seeing it in 3D, it's really not worth it because it wasn't that good.
And then when you do see it in 3D, you go, it's still not worth it because the story's still bad.
Yeah.
Didn't Kevin Costner make this movie? Oh, sorry.
All right, go ahead. Do you have any honorable mentions?
Oh, who? Oh, we're me?
Yeah, where are you?
Oh my goodness. Okay, yes, I have quite a few. But anyways, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I love that film, but it didn't quite make my list. American Splendor. A great, interesting movie about a very interesting person that goes back and forth between the actual guy, the animations, and the actor playing the guy, and the weird, twisted reality in it. Just a great, great film about a artist from the 70s and 80s, you know, the Harry Crumb kind of unusual artist.
Any movie with Paul Giamatti, I know I'm going to enjoy.
Yeah, and he was great in that too. Spider-Man 2. It made me believe in superhero movies again, but I'm sick of superhero movies now. But Spider-Man 2 almost beat out Dark Knight. I gave Dark Knight the edge only because of Heath Ledger, and so did the Oscars. The Fantastic Mr. Fox. If we're going to look at an animated film in the early 2000s, that was a great film. Very kinetic, lots of fun, stop motion, it was just beautiful. And even a performance by George Clooney, I liked it. I liked it a lot. It's very interesting. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Great performance by Jim Carrey, who normally I would avoid like the plague before that film. Interesting concept, well done all the way around. Interesting, and taking different actors who I'd go, I don't really want to see these guys, and making them into interesting characters. Gladiator is a film that is not a great film in any way, shape, or form, but it was a guilty pleasure of mine. I don't know why. It's not because I like, men oiled up and killing each other, but something about that film, which was a stupid revenge flick, I enjoyed. I didn't like it when they turned it into Robin Hood, but I did like it the first time around. I guess it's something about the Roman sword and sandals thing and recreating Rome at that time. It blew me away.
You enjoy oiled up men. Come on, you can admit it.
I don't know, because I didn't like Spartacus, so maybe I do. I don't know. Anyways,
have you ever seen any Gladiator movies, Billy?
If you want to read the synopsis of the Gladiator proposed sequel,
I don't
that
want
is,
no.
Oh my god, that is some fun.
But his dead son comes back to life to avenge his dead father.
Oh no, it starts out with the gladiator. He's in heaven and he's fighting the gods to come back to Earth.
Oh my god! You know what? This was a nice self-contained movie. Leave it at that. You know what I loved about the whole thing? The soundtrack and the visuals. That first fight, the first battle against the Germania, was a really good recreation of Roman tactics against barbarians at that time. And as a history buff, I love that. Same reason why I love Master and Commander, which is also on my list, Far Side World, because it does a great job of recreating that moment in time. Next, we've got some animated films. We've got Monsters, Inc. and WALL-E and Up. All three Pixar films, really good films that I enjoyed. There's The Wrestler, another great, gritty film. Great performance by everyone involved, and you're thinking, oh, I don't want to see him again, but he comes off as and as a person who was in love with wrestling back in the 2000s and everything, it was nice because it was that nice bridge between the two eras. Now my next one this is still in my I can't believe this is still my also rants. Borat, Cultural Learnings of America for Benefit Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan. It was brilliant. He brought this character that's part of it is obviously staged, and part of it is allowing people to make fools of themselves by saying what they're going, oh, well, I'm in safe company. We all think this way. So they open their mouths and make fools of themselves. And all the people who wanted to sue him after that, it's like, dude, you want to sue him because he lets you say the stupid things you say. Okay, nice. It was actually very
good.
Sorry?
When he used to do it on the show?
Yeah, I love the show. Yeah. LEG, I loved it. But I'll tell you, what I liked about it was it's the post-2001, and it showed the dark side of what's going on, the prejudice and the hatred and the underlying, cruelty and nastiness. And all it took was this guy to come in who's acting naive and foreign, and everyone's like, okay, well, they let their guard down. And they said things on film that they would never say to another person around them because they don't want to be caught as one of those people. But they were. And I thought the film was brilliant. Bruno does the same, and I think the negativity against Bruno is interesting because the film points out the same thing, but maybe people don't like that character, but what he did was no different. In fact, in some ways, it was more brilliant than Borat, however. And Bruno was also on my list. Casino Royale. I wasn't a Bourne fan, but Casino Royale basically was the reaction of the James Bond franchise to the Bourne supremacy identity. Thank you. So this was the reaction that James Bond had to. We have to outborn Bourne, and they did a good job. It was a fast-paced action film. You got a James Bond that's uglier than most James Bonds, but and not sophisticated. He was more gritty, but there was something about him that just he was able, like Craig made a new James Bond for a new era that kept the franchise alive and kept it going. We won't talk about the film after that because that was just an ugly mess.
The Quantum of Solace is not on your list?
No, ugly mess. Ugly.
Great title, by the way.
Great title, shitty film. Next is Hot Fuzz, followed by Old Country for No Men, No Country for Old Men, Old Country for No Men, and Memento. Now, onto the list. Sorry about that.
Finally, yay!
He had more than me. He had more than me.
No,
everybody bitched at me. He had more.
No. I just talked more about them. There was less, but sorry about that. I get verbose. But this is what surprised me about the 2000s. There were so many really good films that I dismissed the 2000s. I said to my son, they didn't stop making good films after the 90s. And I'm like, I was wrong. And so, number 4, small budget.
Five.
Number 5. Sorry. 5. Inglourious Bastards. Tarantino proves that 18-year-old kids don't like fast-paced action films. No, what they want are people sitting there talking with subtitles in long, protracted speeches.
And scalping.
No, the scalping's minor. That's just a little bit of But let's face it, that movie is 5 scenes plus a few little extras on top of it, but the big scenes are just talking. People sitting down and having conversations. And it is riveting, and it is interesting. The characters are great. Waltz, of course, my God, that was such a find. He was such a find. Just the way he carried a scene was just amazing. Brad Pitt, funny, but minor.
That opening scene is amazing.
Yeah, and you think about it, what is that opening scene? It's almost 20 minutes of dialogue between 2 characters, and it has a lot of tension. And you've got 3 scenes like that in that movie where it's just tension between 2 people having conversations. And that's when Tarantino was his best, when he could write a good dialogue scene. Even though he's like, the funny thing I always liked was that the subtitles were messed up.
Right.
Like, if you know anything about the languages, in some cases they're completely bad translations, and in other cases, the person's saying one thing and they print the exact language he's saying. So the person says "we" and they've got "we" there or whatever, and it's like little touches like that, which I loved. The film, I just watched it recently again. I love that one. Number 4. Where I was starting was a smaller budget film, 1 actor and a couple of side actors, and 1 voiceover by Kevin Spacey. Move. If you have not seen this film, see it. Seriously. One of the best science fiction films in a long time. That's not
best performance by Sam Rockwell. Man.
Yeah. Just awesome all the way around. Just a great story. Interesting. The premise is interesting, though really dumb idea, because it's like you really think about the economics of what they're doing, would not make any sense. However, that aside, great movie. For most of it, you're watching one guy walking around talking to a sort of robotic thing that's on track that has a smiley face and Kevin Spacey's voice. But I recommend it for anybody. It is if you like science fiction and you like to see something that looks sort of realistic, because the beautiful thing about all the technology they show is it looks plausible. Like the way 2001 did it, it's like this is something that could be done nowadays, and it's just a great film. Okay, so my last three films all have one thing in common. They are not in English. Okay. Number 3, from Germany. The overused meme nowadays, but at the time, still the most powerful film at the time, Germany's Downfall, or the Untergang, about Adolf Hitler in the bunker in the last days of World War II. Everyone recognized the meme of Hitler's mad about this. Mm-hmm. And it kind of, in a way, I can understand where they're getting mad at, because it does kind of take away from the performance, because that scene is very powerful. The scene is basically Hitler trying to marshal troops that don't exist, and people trying to tell him, yeah, those guys aren't there anymore. We don't have anybody. That general is nowhere near you, and he loses it, because in that scene he's also realizing he's surrounded by the Russians, and there's not going to be that last minute hurrah that gets him out of the situation.
You want the title again?
Downfall.
Downfall
is the English title for it. I think it's Untergang, I think is the German title. And it's based on the writings and memories of Hitler's secretary. Is it Trudy Jundel, I think was her name. And so it focuses on her, but you're watching from different points of view, and you're seeing Berlin in the last days of the war. You're seeing the fascists who are like, oh, we're going to still, no matter what. And Hitler talking about, every German should die right now because they failed me. And this kind of insanity. And you're watching the average person who's trying to do their duty and trying to survive in what is basically apocalypse for a nation. Amazing performances all the way around. If you haven't seen this film, see it. Ignore the Hitler reacts to the latest thing. That scene's kind of ruined by this, but the film is great. Number 2, which happens to be running in the background now, I don't know if you've heard sounds and everything, is Clint Eastwood's Letters from Iwo Jima. An amazing film, completely done in Japanese, from the Japanese point of view of the soldiers on the ground in Iwo Jima. It's partnered at the same time with Flags of Our Father, which is a weaker film of the two, which is ironic. And this film is just powerful in many senses. It humanizes the enemy in one way and shows the flaws of the enemy and the weird stuff that was going on. And it's trying to give you someone to root for. So they give this kind of, in a way, it's kind of cheating. So you got this kind of schlubby kind of, this one guy who's not a good soldier, but he's sort of surviving through the whole thing. It's a bleak film about, once again, like Downfall, it's about the losing side, from the point of view of the losing side, and it's a very interesting film in many ways. One of my favorite films also is Master and Commander, Far Side of the World. They changed one thing because they were afraid the American audience could not handle the fact that he was chasing down an American ship, so they turned it French. Because, hey, the Americans are paying for this film, and American audiences don't want to be the bad guys because it would cause too much confusion for them if the bad guy in the film was Americans. In this film, they're not the bad guys. The enemy is still the Americans, and they're seen in shadow, and it's from the point of view of being the guys fighting the Americans. And it's a very well done film. Great performances all the way around. And if you have not seen it, you're doing yourself a disservice. See that film. And finally, number 1.
No, we haven't gotten a 1.
That was number 2. That was number 2.
Yeah.
That was number 2.
Stop you right there.
Stop.
Stop. That's
No
right.
more.
I have to stop at number 2.
No
I
more.
forgot about that. Number 1 is a surprise.
Is coming up right after this.
All right, here we go. I'm going to do my honorable mentions real quick. We have Remember the Titans from the year 2000. Another Denzel movie, John Q. We have Gladiator, which was on my list, but it got bumped off. The Fast and the Furious, the first film. 28 Days Later, Minority Report, Kill Bill Volume 1, Batman Begins, and because I'm a Christopher Nolan fan,
Yeah.
and Sideways as well. All right, so those were my honorable mentions. All right, so here we go. Number 5 on my list is Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 from 2004 was a flat-out terrific film. It was a very, very, very well-done movie. Sam Raimi at his best. It was, I guess Sam Raimi fell on his head or something because Spider-Man 3 was...
No, that was the studio that did that to him.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
The studio
Studio
forced him to put in his
whatever.
interest.
if it was Satan or whoever, that shit was terrible. But Spider-Man 2 is of all the superhero comic book movies that come out in the last 10, 15 years, I think that's very high up on the list. Spider-Man 2.
Absolutely.
Definitely changed the game, and I thought, man, that was great. All right, so number 4 on my list is The Departed. The Departed from 2006. Just a terrific movie. The cast was great. Yes, it was a little slow in the beginning, but the story is so awesome. I still haven't seen the source material for this, which I keep hearing that it's called Infernal Affairs, I believe.
Yeah, Infernal Affairs.
I hear that it's a terrific movie. So of course I've seen the American film, but The Departed I thought was an excellent film, and definitely something that I think I'm gonna probably watch it coming up soon. Number 3 on my list is Slumdog Millionaire. Love Danny Boyle. I thought this film really surprised the hell out of me because I didn't think, it's about a guy who's on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and you're like, okay, that sounds silly, but it turned out to be a very terrific film. I really enjoyed it a lot. I thought I thought it was directed very well. The actors were amazing, and definitely deserving of its Academy Award win. All right, number 2 on my list, because I like Christopher Nolan, is 2008's The Dark Knight. Dark Knight, one of my favorite of the comic book movies. I thought, Heath Ledger. The funny thing is, when I heard that Heath Ledger was casted as the Joker, I laughed at first because I was thinking Brokeback Joker. Because remember, he had just done Brokeback Mountain. I was like, that's kind of a weird transition. But
want to know where I got these scars from? These are.
I think we talked about this before. One of my favorite movies of all time is Heat. The Dark Knight is an inspiration it draws from the movie Heat. Christopher Nolan has said this, and it was evident if you've seen the movie Heat, when you watch the film, you see it. It's all written all over it. So The Dark Knight, terrific film. Of course, there's holes in it and all of that, and people always talk about the ending. I forget that. It was a great movie. I like the Nolan films better than Tim Burton or Joel Schumacher.
Oh, anyway, don't even talk about Schumacher.
Yeah, I actually met Joel Schumacher around the time after Batman and Robin, and I asked him about it. No.
You should.
He said
bat nipples.
he really didn't give a shit about Batman. so
It showed.
Right. So, but I prefer these because they were more grounded in reality, which is kind of weird for a superhero movie. But it felt more real to me, and I think I liked it. I liked it. That's funny. So number 2 on my list is The Dark Knight from 2008. So Olaf, are you there?
Did you fall asleep, Olaf?
No one's talking to me.
Oh, Olaf fell asleep.
Yes, we can hear you. You can only hear me. All right, so let's do this really quickly. Recap your list and then give us with your number 1.
Okay, the whole list. Alrighty, here we go. Number 10, Wall-E. Number 9, Up. Number 7 or 8, Lord of the Rings: Two Towers. 7 is Lord of the Rings: Fellowship. 6, Zombieland. Number 5, 28 Days Later. 4, Avatar. 3, Kung Fu Panda. And number 2 is Nemo. And number 1, Gladiator.
Oh wow, number 1.
See, he likes it more than I do.
Yeah, I love that movie. Great.
Yes, but he's admitted for a long time that he likes oiled up men.
My name is Maximus Decimus Radius.
You know, I don't know if you guys know Ray Lewis, who used to play for the Ravens. He literally watched Gladiator every time before he played. He would watch every Sunday. He would watch Gladiator before he started playing. So that got him hyped.
The one that's like, around Christmas time, before I go to like these, the Midnight Madness sales and all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Before I go, that's what I watch. I watch Gladiator, then I go in and I get what I want. I'm telling you.
Well, at least you're not watching it before you go on a date.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, and I want that plasma TV set. Either this.
All right.
Excellent.
All right. So, Arpo, very quickly, run through your list and then hit us with your number 1.
Alrighty. Number 10, Finding Nemo. Number 9, Juno. Number 8, Hollywood Ending. Number 7, The Last King of Scotland. Number 6, Sideways. Number 5, Capote. Number 4, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Number 3, The Dark Knight. Number 2, The Hurt Locker, which leaves us with one movie and 1 year. Number 1 and 2001. First, let me say the worst movie of 2001 was Captain Corelli's Mandolin. I mean, I don't even know why they made that movie. But my wife dragged me to see it anyway.
Oh.
But the number 1 movie for me, 2001's Memento.
Oh,
The movie that you have to watch backwards because the great surprise twist chronologically happens at the beginning of the story.
great movie.
And just outstanding performance by Guy Pearce. Outstanding editing. I was never lost in the movie, even though we were basically watching everything backwards. Just all around great film. And as a side note, worst movie of that decade, Around the World in 80 Days. I'm sorry. I know some people liked it, but
Just a Jackie Chan hater.
I love Jackie Chan. I hated him in that movie.
You know, there's talk about doing a third to Shanghai Noon, right?
Oh God, that's even worse.
He's too old to be throwing himself off of buildings.
All right. So, Kitty, quickly recap your top 10 and then hit us with your number 1.
Myself? There we go. Number 10.
Oh, Kitty.
Oh, Kitty. I think it's a king. Sorry. I'll shut up. Go ahead, Kitty.
At 10, Beaver Vendetta. 9, Pitch Black. 8, AI Artificial Intelligence. 7, The Harry Potter series. 6, Inglourious Bastards. 5, Avatar. 4, Shrek. 3, WALL-E. 2, Finding Nemo. And finally, my personal favorite of the 2000s. Again, this movie comes out of Japan. Again, from Studio Ghibli. Spirited Away.
Mm-hmm.
Spirited Away. I haven't seen it, but I hear it's really good.
It is. It is really, really good. And when you watch that movie, let me know so that we can talk about the deeper meaning behind it.
Okay. All right. That might be my little thing I might do. I may watch that before I watch Up. All right, Penguin, your list, and then recap your list, and then number 1.
I'm making it quick here. Number 10, Shaun of the Dead. Number 9, Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. Number 8, The Dark Knight. Number 7, Children of Men. Number 6, District 9. Number 5, Inglourious Bastards. Number 4, Moon. Number 3, Downfall, or Untergang. And number 2, Letters from Iwo Jima. And my number 1 film, also foreign, but a very disturbing film, also very powerful film, Pan's Labyrinth. Visually amazing, heartbreakingly sad, or optimistic at the end. Hard to tell, but just a great film all the way around.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Pan's Labyrinth made me want to watch. Oh God, I can't remember it now. The one with David Bowie. The one with David Bowie is the Goblin King.
Oh, Labyrinth.
Yeah, Labyrinth. Pan's
Labyrinth
made me want to watch Labyrinth.
Is it just because they have the word labyrinth in it?
Probably.
That's the only thing they have in common.
I know.
Yeah, you see, Pan's Labyrinth made me want to watch The Devil's Backbone, which is probably the most beautiful ghost story ever made.
Actually, Pan's Labyrinth, when I finished watching it, made me want to watch something cheerful and happy. And it's a sad film.
With little cartoon animals frolicking about.
Yeah, but credit where credit's due. It's a powerful film. It gets you along the whole thing. The fantastical stuff is just amazing. It's just one of those films that you do not forget after you've seen it. And there's so many bits and pieces you just always remember. And it's just well done. Just a great film.
And whatever you may think of those fantastical creatures, the truly evil thing in this movie
is the person.
The soldiers.
Yeah, the general.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A quick recap of my list. Number 10 is A History of Violence. Number 9 is There Will Be Blood. Number 8 is Memento. Number 7 is The Bourne Identity. Number 6 is Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. That's right, I said it. Number 5, Spider-Man 2. You know what? I noticed there's a lot of sequels on this. Number 4, The Departed. Number 3, Slumdog Millionaire. And number 2, The Dark Knight Rises. Yeah, that's 1, 2, yeah. And number 1, my number 1 movie of the 2000s, and this is easy. This one's easy as hell. Is No Country for Old Men, which was also the theme of John McCain's 2008 campaign presidential bid. No Country for Old Men.
Well, he wanted to get rid of all the old men in the country.
No, he didn't become president, so there was no country for that old man.
Hey, all those fears that he would have died in those 8 years, guess he proved them all wrong, didn't he?
Yeah, but he didn't have the stress of the presidency.
That's true, too. No, he just had the stress of being a Republican in that time.
But, the reason why I like this film is real. The ending, I know some people love the ending. Some people hate it. I was kind of like, about the ending. But it was just a great movie. First of all, Roger Deakins, who's one of the best cinematographers going. His cinematography is just flat out amazing. Also, check out a movie called, it's going to be on another list, so I'm not going to say it. It's going to be on my next list. But the acting is great. Tommy Lee Jones. Thank you. Josh Brolin. Javier Bardem was like a revelation. From the opening, the minute he's on screen, you're like terrified of this guy. This guy is like
with that shitty haircut.
Oh,
it's supposed to be. Holy fuck, that's scary. Get away with that.
His weapon is awesome.
The scene in the service station is one of the most suspenseful things I've seen in a movie in a very long time.
Oh, my favorite scene is one of my favorite scenes from that film. There's so many great ones. Is when Josh Brolin is sitting on the bed and you shadows, in the hallway and all, and you're just like on the edge of your seat, like what's going to happen. Love that movie, and even Woody Harrelson comes in for a minute and does his thing, and it's just one of those movies that definitely rewatchable.
Yep.
Now.
It's the Blood Simple taken to they started off with Blood Simple, and this was their Blood Simple after all this time of honing their skills and improving their writing, improving their directing. You look at that film, and it's like that's what Blood Simple would have been. Now, I mean that's
probably why they were drawn to it too.
Yeah,
and Now, I'm telling you, if I had walked away with that money, there's no way I would have went back to give that guy water. I'm sitting there like every time I see that, it's like,
Well, do you have humanity in you? That was the thing, right? No, you've got no humanity in you. None.
not at all. They would have never known that my ass was there.
Oh, that's sad.
So it cracks me up though every time. Every time I see him do, I'm like, "Don't do it, don't do it." There's no alternate version where he doesn't. But great movie, and if you haven't seen No Country for Old Men, it's a shame on you. Go watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And you may not like the ending though. That's the only thing.
Wow, I thought the ending was great.
But see, though, here's the thing. I really wanted that showdown though.
Why? But that wasn't what was going to happen. The thing was about it's called No Country for Old Men. It's all about retirement and becoming obsolete. That's what that film is about.
I get it, but I liked it though. So, I mean, I would have liked it. But anyway, great movie.
Wow.
And, check it out. Okay, so that wraps that up. Next week we'll be talking about
6 years.
2006. So yeah, it's a shorter window, but
I wonder how many sequels will be on people's lists. Because it's hard to choose when you have nothing but sequels.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Transformers: Dark Side of the Moon, #1 across everybody's list.
Really, you're wrong.
We have two on mine.
You mean not Age of Extinction?
Oh, well, okay, maybe. X-Men 5, Spider-Man 17, Batman Returns again.
All right, so real quick before we get out of here, a theme that we see in the 2000s is, obviously sequels. We also have Christopher Nolan, the rise of Christopher Nolan. No Michael Bay movies made on this. I'm so shocked. A lot of animated films on the list. And, of course, Lord of the Rings and comic book movies dominated during that period of time, as they still, well, not Lord of the Rings, but now.
And honestly, I think a lot of foreign films, I mean, because if you think about Lord of the Rings, that was New Zealand. That was maybe booked by a company in the, like, New Line Cinema was a U.S. company, but you had a New Zealand director, shot in New Zealand with a lot of actors from that area, English actors and what have you. A lot of films that were really good that year came from outside of the United States, but were accepted. Slumdog Millionaire was about an Indian story, which was, I mean, it was a very interesting time for films. Because people, they were looking outside, and a lot of people were exposed to more than they normally would be.
Definitely. So I'm gonna ask real quick, just before we go, of all the movies that made you guys list, which one of those films would you say that you've seen the most out of all those?
That's a good question.
Spirited Away.
Spirited Away. Okay.
Yeah, my #1.
It's a toss-up.
That's one of the reasons it's my #1. I watch it at least 2-3 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's a toss-up between The Dark Knight and Shaun of the Dead, with Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring following close third.
What about you, Arthur?
And this is a real dichotomy. It's a toss-up between Bad Santa and Memento.
Okay. And Olaf, which one?
Gladiator. That's the one I watched the most.
You know what?
I've seen that more than anyone on my list, by the way. So there's my guilty pleasure. But it didn't make the list because I'm like, I'm ashamed I like that film.
Don't be ashamed.
I am. It's pulp, but it's fun pulp. But I do enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie.
I've probably seen that one the most, but it's not on my list. So I've probably seen Dark Knight probably the most. So I've seen that quite a bit. All right. So and one last question is: of all the movies that were talked about today, what do you think is the best date movie that's been mentioned?
Nothing on my list, I don't think.
Date movie?
You can use anybody's list.
I would say, that's a good question.
On my list, I think Juno. I think Juno was a good date movie.
No, wasn't it about like abortion or something? Like that?
No, no, it was about a teenage girl who got pregnant,
pregnancy.
and she was looking for the right parents to raise her child, and eventually realized that the right parent to raise the child was her.
You just spoiled it. I guess I'll never.
Oh, don't worry, she's wrong. And the sequel, Juno 2, the child ends up really messed up and ends up being a serial killer. It's true. It's coming out this year. It's Juno 2. It's about a serial killer that was raised by a very bad mother who should have given the kid up for adoption. But as far as date movies go, you can't go wrong with the animated stuff. I would say WALL-E or Up. You can't go wrong with that because it's inoffensive, but you can still say, hey, I'm sensitive but clever, just like these cartoons. and whimsical too. Look at me being whimsical. We're going to see an animated film. It's great.
You know,
I kind of have to agree with King on that one. On the list of that I've heard, I'd probably have to go with Shrek, WALL-E, or Finding Nemo.
Okay, and what about you, Olaf? The best date movie of all the movies they've been talking about?
Gladiator.
What my list is, and hear what your list was. I didn't hear the other ones. I'm going to go with off my list, Up.
Okay, there you go.
No, here's the thing, though. You might be crying, though, on that date.
Hey, Kinte, even if you watch Up is a good movie. The first 10 minutes are all you need to see of that film. If you want to see
seriously.
What brilliant that film is, just the first 10 minutes, which you can see online, but I'm not going to say where because that's wrong.
YouTube. I'll tell you where you can see it. You can find it on YouTube.
I would say Slumdog Millionaire is I think that'd be a good date movie. Yeah.
Really? So the scene where the kid's like, hey, come over to my hole in the ground where you can shit into a bucket instead of that guy's.
Yeah,
that's a fun date movie. Wow, they're showing defecation. That's great. Where do you want to take me next? Well, we're going out for dinner after this. Come on.
Oh, yeah, perfect. It's all about love in the end. All right, and last but not least, of all the movies that have been talked about, which one of the movies, you can use anybody's list, do you think will hold up 20 years in the future, 30 years in the future or so? Which one do you think holds up the best? Will hold up the best?
That's a good question.
I would have to go with King's pick with Pan's Labyrinth.
I have to go with my pick of Pan's Labyrinth. No. But yes, I think that one will definitely hold up as an artistic film. That it's not about trying to appeal to the audience of the time. It's an artist creating something that is unique and different, and yeah, I think that film will hold up. I liked Dark Knight. It's on my list, but that film will definitely fall to pieces within a decade from now. It's even now it's being picked apart. It's not going to last, that one.
Yeah,
but Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah. Pan's Labyrinth can be enjoyed on so many different levels, and it's just an outstanding film.
Yeah, and it's so unique and so interesting and so like it is a piece of art. It really is.
It is.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go with my pick, my number one pick, which was Spirited Away. I mean, if you get a chance to sit down and watch this movie, if you have not,
I've heard a lot of good things about it.
You really should. It's a really good movie, and if you do a little research into understanding why the movie was made and what underlining tones are for it, you will understand why this movie will last for a long time.
Okay. I gotta go with my number one, and I imagine Olaf, you're going to go with your number one, right?
Well, I'm kind of torn, but for me, it's like I'm not sure. Gladiator's there, but I'm kind of teetering between Avatar and Gladiator. I think they both might actually make it, but probably more like Gladiator.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, panel. You guys were great. Like I said, next week into. What is it? 2016.
And then we're going to go back to 1900.
Oh yeah, we're going to go to very beginning of film. No, we're gonna actually
1844.
We're gonna do the top 10 adult movies from the different decades.
Oh,
So,
Spanky Naked. That's my number one pick from 1942.
Pinocchio,
All right.
it's not his nose that grows.
Now that was that not one of the fake things that they put on that book? Because I don't think that was actually real.
No,
well.
that was a real.
Well, because there was one they admitted. They said
Poor
we made some fake ones up, and I thought that was one of the fake ones. Have you seen it? Do you know it exists?
I have not seen it, but I seem to recall it playing at the movie theater.
Oh, false memory.
When I was in college, we had one movie theater that showed lots of porn. It's where I saw Flesh Gordon.
Flesh Gordon.
And
now, that's a film that will last into the far-flung future. When the last star dies in the universe, Flesh Gordon will still be on the lips of whatever exists at that time.
That's right.
Humanity has given us Flesh Gordon. Thank you.
All right. So Olaf has an announcement, and then Olaf also tell us how we can get you in social media.
Alrighty. Well, past couple of shows I've been talking about this convention that I've gotten involved with called Rewind Con. Well, it's not just the pop culture 80s, 90s, and beyond. Daytime movie stars or daytime TV and soap opera stars, things like that. There's a second venue that's called Rewind 2. And it's like, well, the first Rewind convention will be in November in Chicago. If you go to rewindconvention.com, you can find out all the information, but it'll be the 11th through the 13th in November in Chicago. But we just released today, Rewind 2 is a second venue where it is a show-specific convention. In other words, it would be like, Married with Children. It'd be the cast and supporting cast from Married with Children, Home Improvement. And the announcement we have today is the very first Rewind 2 is going to be in mid-May. We're still looking for a location.
Kansas City
is going to be a Friends convention.
Oh, okay, yeah, Kansas City is fine.
You send them over to Kansas City.
Oh God, no! Don't send them to Kansas City if you're doing Friends. No. Go to San Diego. No.
All together yet, but we're going to get as many as we can. Like I said, that'll be May of next. So I'm kind of speechless because that's just awesome. I watch Friends all the time, so it's like, and I'll be hosting the panel, so I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
Well, it'll probably be a sellout, but I'll tell you what, if you guys can ever wrangle a Firefly reunion, that'll sell out in an hour.
Oh God, yeah.
Brown shirts, yeah.
And make sure you do that one in Kansas City.
He can't hear us, by the way.
Your finger.
He can if he has the thing up.
Nope, he can't hear.
No, he's on Skype.
All right, so Arpo, how can people get you social media and such?
They can't anymore. I'm hiding. No, I'm Facebook, of course, and Twitter, which I never look at anymore. But hey, you can go ahead and tweet me. That's fine. And
he looks at it long enough to follow me.
You can follow me following her on Twitch TV, and of course the good old Movies Underground forums.
All right, Kitty.
You can follow me at Twitter at twitter.com. Is it twitter.com? Yeah, no, wait, it's not twitter.com. Is it twitter.com? I am so out of it right now.
That's because you want to finish your Chinese dinner. It's just sitting there beckoning to you.
It's twitter.com/kittycat1987. 2 Ks with that. You can also catch me Wednesdays and Thursdays. I am trying to set up a schedule. Wednesdays and Thursdays, usually early or late morning, early afternoonish, on twitch.tv/kittycat87. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com kittycat8587. I can't promise that I'll answer any messages you send me, but you can reach me there.
You know, I gotta thank you for doing this, Kitty, because I know tonight is a big night for you.
Yes, I have a Patriots game going on the TV just on the other side of the monitors that I've been half engrossed with.
Yes, so I don't even know what the score is.
The score is 27-0. New England is leading.
What?
Turn it on. I shit you not. Patriots are whooping ass with Brexit, which is shocking me.
Against who?
The Houston Texans.
Well, that explains it a bit.
But they're good this year, though.
Dude, their defense was off the chain the last couple of days, and we've just been fucking dominating them tonight. Excuse my language.
I'm glad I didn't watch that game. All right, so King Penguin, how can people get you on social media? I know
they can't. Don't worry about it.
It just ended. Game just ended, 27-0.
And that's all you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great. Well, there's one I won't have to watch on instant replay now. Thanks.
And you can get me at Kente F. You can go to our website, indieradio.org. We will be back next week, of course. And you guys have a great weekend, and God bless.